You are listening to the Objects of Affection collection, Study 158. What a silk scarf costs to make, the 4-5 multiple. The two numbers the industry tells. Ask a luxury house about its silk scarves, and you will hear an enormous number. Hundreds of hours, sometimes up to 2,000, of engraving work behind a single design. Watch its marketing and you will see a small, intimate gesture. A seamstress rolling the hem by hand, needle and silk thread, the signature of the whole category. One of these numbers is doing honest work, and the other is doing narrative work, and telling them apart is this study subject. The figures below are evidence-grade lower bounds drawn from public references, not audited financials. Material economics computed with the Material Integrity Record, an instrument of the Objects of Affection collection. Roman 2. The working retail first, with its caveat carried openly. Makers do not publish scarf prices and block their own product pages, so the selling side rests on public price guides, which put a luxury house's 90-centimetre silk twill between roughly €400 at the European base and $780 in recent guides. The working use is $450, the lowest documented figure, so the multiple is a flaw. The making side. Silk fabric imports into the United States run about $17 per square metre, and a 90-centimetre square is under 1 square metre, with twill wholesale rates and grading waste, call it $25 a fabric. The hem, the celebrated gesture, is documented across the craft literature at 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and on the Como Silk House Mantero's own craft page, about 1 hour for a 90-centimetre square. The working takes the hour, the strongest and most conservative source, priced at the atelier rate. This series applies to every object, $60. Add the scarf's share of the print run, quality control and finishing, and the object stands near $100 fully made. 450 over 100 is 4.5. A record of this series' own conduct belongs here. This study was originally scoped against a figure of 9.0 computed from a $25 labor line. The research pass that precedes every composition surfaced the documented hem range, whose most conservative reading exceeded that entire labor line on its own, and the figure was revised downward before a word was written. This is the second time the instrument has lowered its own number when the evidence demanded it. The crocodile bag went from 6.4 to 4.2 the same way. An instrument that only ever finds bigger scandals is marketing. This one keeps finding smaller ones, which is what being right looks like. Roman 3. The engraving alibi. What about the 2,000 hours? The number is real, and it is doing exactly the work the category needs it to do. Craft features document engraving in the range of 400 to 600 hours for a design of around 30 colors, one engraved screen per color, and figures approaching 2,000 hours for the most complex designs. But that labor belongs to the design, not to your scarf. It is a fixed cost, incurred once, then amortized across a print run whose size no house discloses. Print the design on 5,000 scarves and the celebrated 2,000 hours contributes a few minutes' worth of labor cost to each one. The number is true and the implication is not, which is the precise anatomy of most luxury craft mathematics. A real cost, attached to the wrong object. The gesture that actually belongs to your scarf, the hand-rolled hem, is 30 to 60 documented minutes. At documented French seamstress wages, that is 7 to 14 euros of labor. This working prices it at 4 times that, and the multiple still reaches 4.5. The category's economics survive every generosity extended to them. Roman 4. What France already requires. The scarf is also the object where the regulatory moment this institution has documented all summer becomes concrete. France's AGEC information decree has required, since January 2023, that textiles sold in France disclose the countries where weaving, dyeing and printing and making up took place. Those are precisely the chapters of a luxury scarf's biography. Silk often reeled in Brazil or Asia, woven in France, printed in Lyon, hemmed wherever the hands are. The disclosure the category resisted as impossible is the national law of its home market, and the European product passport will generalize it. When the biography is mandatory, the working shown here stops being investigative journalism and becomes reading the label. Coda. The hem is. Nothing here diminishes the hem. A person rolls it skillfully, and the difference between a hand-rolled and a machine-rolled edge is visible to anyone who looks. The finding is about proportion. The category's most marketed gesture is under an hour of documented work in an object selling for 4.5 times its fully paid cost, while the number the marketing leans on belongs to the artwork, not the object. The scarf joins the series where the evidence placed it, above gold, where the material testifies and the multiple vanishes. Below the perfume it resembles more than its makers would like. a beautiful surface where the price is mostly the story, and the story is now, at last, measurable. This has been a study from the Objects of Affection collection, a critical art research institution operating under the framework of post-luxury conceptual functional art. Read the full research at objectsofaffectioncollection.com.